present, did he?
Mm-hmm. He reads these things like crazy.
I just, when I got into my bag and saw how many I had, I thought.
There's a bunch of them, and yeah.
We go through.
Did get a rain gauge though, so.
There you go.
I didn't get one of those.
I can't remember who's even giving them out, but I saw those, I'm like, oop.
I got a bunch of kitchen utensils.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What? Why? No, never mind. I
give them
don't want
away,
to know. I don't want to know.
No.
I don't want to know.
So you
They're in
can
my
use them.
dishwasher.
Yeah. And mine's in Scarlett's hands, because it's rubber, she can eat it. Yeah.
Yeah, all of them were rubber.
Yeah.
There's a spatula, a pie cutter, one of those long jar scraper things, a pizza cutter.
Kitchen stocked out. What are you doing? You just adding puppies?
Is that new?
Yes. You can tell by the way the ink is. In
Yeah.
fact, his arm's been shaved.
Well, and the fact that it looks kind of shiny, so you're putting aqua fur on it. Did they put the clear stuff on it when they got it?
Yeah, that Tegaderm thing's a new stuff.
Because you're gonna add color. Oh, are you going all the way up? Are you gonna add color? You're not gonna add color? So I added color to mine. I wish she'd have done more on the side. On this side, she did this side, so. In Florida, I run all up the side and it's all colored. She had, after we left, she had some more down to it. So.
That's good. No wonder the doctor was working on it.
Gonna be what?
I tried to get one here a while back. I just found out it was on the black
Yeah.
I don't know why. Not sure. All I gotta do is quit taking one for 2 days. I'll do it. He said, that said that would be enough.
False meeting order.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Fry.
Present.
Keating.
Present.
Snellings.
Present.
Pikeman.
Present.
Goraki.
Present.
Price.
Present.
Behrens.
Here.
Brom.
Here.
8.
Okay. First up, we have the approval of the minutes from the regular meeting on September 26th.
Move to approve minutes, regular meeting, September 26, 2022.
Second. Okay, any further discussion, changes? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 8-0. Next we have 5-minute public comment. Is anybody here for 5-minute public comment? Hello?
Hello. Bill Cohorse, 1509 Alston, Ward 4 as of tonight, maybe one tomorrow. I come here tonight because I have a house on 305 North 2nd Street that it needs to come down through the revitalization program, and I have not got it down yet. Out of the 5 houses on my list, this is the last one, and it was supposed to be down by today. I need just a little more time, and I'm asking for a little leniency. I know you're not supposed to make decisions during public comment, but it maybe is an exception. There's been multiple things that went on that reasons I didn't get it done, personal and business, but all I'm asking is a little more time. 2 weeks maybe.
You're gonna get it done?
What's that?
You're going to get it done in 2
That's
weeks?
the plan, is pending on Temp's dumpsters availability. I haven't called because it was pending on this tonight, and I thought I had till the end of the month earlier, until Thursday of last week. I realized it was the 10th that it was supposed to be done by, so I called, but it was too late to get on the agenda, so.
And I will say, we have not had dumpsters to help him on his other projects, so.
I think we should.
They're in such tight demand right now.
Yeah. I think, I mean, you said 2 weeks, but I'd just make it easier and say by the end of the month. That's 3
That's what, in
weeks.
my mind, I thought I had to begin with, but yeah,
Okay.
I'd be okay with that.
Do we need a motion?
I don't know.
I move
if
to
you do or not.
extend the demolition period through the end of October 2022.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Phil.
Thanks, Phil.
Hello?
Hello, Mandy Cook, Ward 1, 2401 North Street, wearing my convention and tourism hat for a brief moment when I will switch on our next agenda item. I was requested by, first I'll start off with this. I'll be happy to tell you that our 17 brand new squirrels have been clear coated this weekend. It was done. They're beautiful. I'm very excited to reveal them on October 22nd. Patrick, the gentleman who does the squirrels, is requesting his check a little faster than what you normally do. I am ready to be done with him in the nicest way possible. He's very willing to, to help us out with this awesome project, but I know that normally the check is, gone, it's in the consent agenda to approve the check to be written and then to approve it to be signed, or I'm not sure exactly what the terminology is, but one of my committee members was in contact with a council member that said, maybe if I just come up here and ask for that process to be accelerated, it could be. I'm just going to leave it in your capable hands to see if that can be or can't be. He's just requesting it a little earlier so he can get across the nation to Arizona.
Are you talking about the seal coat? Or
Correct.
the other, because we've already paid him 100% of the squirrels, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, the squirrels.
I
It's
just
just, it's
wanted
just
to
the
be
seal.
clear.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, the squirrels themselves.
$1,600.
Correct, yes.
back
It's,
here.
yeah, it's
Check.
the one that's already on your consent agenda. He just would prefer it to be,
An advance check.
yes, correct. So I will leave it up to your capable hands at that time, but I just wanted to put my 2 cents in. Thank you so much.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you. Can we do that, or are we gonna get in trouble if it's not on the, okay?
Just a consensus that you're okay with, or do you want a motion?
No, when they do the consent, it's fine, as long as you guys are okay with it doing an
We
advance.
can write an advance check.
We can write an advance check. You just know it's coming as opposed to that it will be in the next.
Yeah.
But it will be in the next pay ordinance. We'll just mail the check previous to you approving it.
Okay.
Is that fine with everybody?
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Anybody else here for 5-minute public comment? All right. We'll move on to, we'll move on to business and discussion items. First up, we have the Black Squirrel Parade street closing and golf cart requests. Andy?
All right, so I'm back up now with my dear friend Ashley Crott as part of the Year of the Black Squirrel Committee. You see our letter that we sent. If you noticed with the parade route, we don't have all of these parades floats filled, but we are getting pretty close to 65, so that's pretty awesome. Because of that, due to the smaller, the narrower nature of our streets, we're just asking for some assistance with some no parking signs. And then the chamber would like to have a transportation type of thing that they're doing. You can kind of read about what Stacy had said on there. And one thing that we did not include on here because I forgot to do it. I had a letter all written 3 weeks ago and then I forgot to include it on this one. The 7th Street corridor, like south of Broadway to Elm Street, is where we would like to pull the squirrels after they're done with the parade on their trailers and just have them there so that way people can get up a little closer to them. And so I'd like to see if we can also close that block. And I apologize for not putting that on the letter. That was my bad.
You said you want to pull the trailers over there?
So the parade route is going to end at 6th Street, and so they would turn south and then basically turn on Elm Street to the east and then pull back up into
The,
that.
the only reason I bring it up is
Yeah.
I was at the depot when they were expecting the squirrels to be back there.
They
Or is
will
that
be.
something different?
No, they will be after 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Yep, we just wanted to get them close to the parade for the people. Yes, because as a matter of fact, there's going to be an open house on Sunday for more people who weren't able to come or able to see them at that time. So we're really trying to give people as many times as they can see them up close before they actually, are in their areas. But yes, and Anita is aware of that. They will be back to the depot after 4 o'clock, which is when we'll open the street up.
Broadway to Elm.
Correct, yes, on 7th, yes.
On this parade lineup.
Correct,
We
yeah.
were looking at, there's some issues possibly with parking down by Tension.
Okay,
The fact that they'll be in operation at that point in time, and they need that parking. So is there a way we can do
Okay.
this, so we're not involving Tension or even blocking?
Well, it's not, even if you don't have to redo it, you just have to work around them.
Right.
They go to work at 6 a.m., 6 to 6, I believe. And in order for you to clear that street, you would have to start at 5 o'clock the night before.
yeah, oh, go ahead.
I'm Ashley Crott, also on the committee. I just wanted to add, I think we're only wanting one side of that street. That's about 3, maybe 4 cars to remain clear, to have floats on one side, traffic, and then Tension can also have parking in that area as well.
We might be able to make that work. But I'm not gonna take their parking away from them for their workers, because their parking lot's full, so I mean,
It'd
it's,
definitely be something we'd want to discuss with them.
yeah,
Yeah, so they don't think we're blindsiding them.
No, we just need to reach out to them real quick.
So which side are you gonna park floats
Probably
on?
north.
I would
Yeah, I-
anticipate the north side of that
Okay.
street to go with the flow of traffic to go into the rest of the parade
That makes sense.
slow.
They don't, I don't know that they park any
Yeah, they
on
do.
the north side.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
There's 6 or 7 cars on the north side normally.
I also, on this float, the parade lineup, I just accounted for 50 feet per float. It's probably not going to be that much, so honestly, they'll probably be a little closer. But I needed to get, some basic number down. According to Google Maps, that's about, like, each little line is about 50 feet. So, really, they probably won't be taking up nearly as much room as it looks, because some people will not have a full trailer or truck, on it. So I'm hoping, my point is I'm hoping that because of that, we can kind of navigate, they're gonna be sitting there for probably about an hour, maybe an hour and a half as the parade goes on. But they're gonna be moving, and hopefully we can kind of wiggle that. We just know that if, because of the thousands of people that we're expecting, that if people are able to park on both sides of the street, then we're gonna have an issue. For most of this, particularly in like the, more toward the east of the school, on 13th and 14th. Those are the more tight streets. Those are the ones that I'm more worried about than Spring Street. I guess I just wanted to kind of include a good layout, so that way you all were just aware of what our plans were. I did have Matt Simpson look at this as well, so he's aware of what our route is.
And our biggest concern with not closing any portion of that, or not requesting limiting parking near that area, would be, we don't have very many volunteers for this event. So if somebody could help us kind of connect, maybe if we had to not include that area, if there was a break in where the parade floats are, just making sure that that next area can get queued. So we're just a very small committee with limited volunteers, and so I don't want the rest of the parade to be sitting down over by the Lutheran school and not knowing that the parade is up already on Broadway, so that they've missed their queue to get in line if we had a gap there. So.
Well, somebody want to make a motion?
Move to approve the parade, parade route for the Black Squirrel Parade and also for the use of, the golf carts on Broadway.
7th Street,
What's that?
7th Street too.
That's what 7th Street on there.
Closing 7th Street.
Yes.
7th Street,
7th
Broadway
Street.
down.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 8-0.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
As closing notes, we continually, almost daily, have more people, including themselves, asking to be a part of the parade, being part of it as a vendor. So we're sure hoping that you all are still blocking off that day so that way you can serve donuts and be in the parade yourself. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up, we have the auditor's review.
I don't know if I can follow the
hello.
squirrels very well. That's a tough act to follow. First of all, I want to apologize for the confusion last meeting. I've been doing this 35 years and I've missed 2 meetings and that was the second one. So it was not on my calendar and it's been a crazy year. But the audit is done. The audit was so clean. Your staff, administration and staff do a great job. There were no adjusting entries proposed. It was very clean. The delay was, number one, we had to do a single audit for the federal program for the airport. The gal that was planned to do that left the firm and went to work somewhere else. So I, as a partner, got to do it, and it took me a while to get to it. So I'm not making excuses. We are knocking $1,000 off of your fee because of the delay. So hopefully that will help a little bit. The individual letter in the front of the binder is our required governance letter. If we had journal entries or we had concerns about controls, they would be in this letter. Another thing we noticed is that you do have a good checks and balances here. You're lucky enough to have staff that can separate duties and do some checks and balances. And Cindy, man, anything we needed, she knew it. She knew the answers to all of our questions, so we were very happy for that. So it's a clean letter. The audit itself, if you'll turn to page 1 and 2, this is really our part. This is the independent auditor's report. You report on what's called the regulatory basis, so you follow the Kansas Municipal Accounting and Audit Guide, which is a cash basis reporting, and most cities and counties in Kansas follow that same method. So when you read the opinion, it is a little confusing at the beginning. It says it's adverse opinion, but that's in regards to generally accepted accounting principles, which you don't follow. But then if you look on the 3rd paragraph, it does say it is a fair, unmodified opinion on the regulatory basis. So it's a clean opinion, the highest form of opinion. Because of the single audit this year, your federal dollars, there are a couple extra paragraphs on page 3 that address the schedule of federal expenditures and also the government auditing standards, otherwise known as the Yellow Book. So it is a clean opinion. If you turn to page 4, this is your actual financial statement. It's a snapshot of your city. Down the left-hand side are the funds that the city utilizes. And then we begin with your beginning unencumbered cash from your prior year. We show receipts and expenditures for each fund, and then the ending cash balance for the city in total. Down near the bottom, the next to the last line is the Marysville Public Library. You do include them as a related municipal entity, which allows them to not have to pay for a separate audit. So we do procedures related to the library as part of the city's audit. So their cash balance is also listed there. The next several pages are the notes to the financial statement. The notes are required. They are pretty static. They talk about how you report, the basis of accounting you follow. And I'm not going to read these to you. There really were no new notes this year. So this is information you've seen each year. If you will turn to page 9, this is a summary of the debt of the city. You can see that you have a Series 2015 refunding bond. You had 2 temp notes during 2021. One you received and paid off within the same year, and then you had an additional temp note that was still outstanding of $700,000 at the end of the year. And then you have 2 KDHE loans, as noted before. All payments were made timely and in accordance with all the requirements. So no issues there. You can see that over the course of the year, your interest that you paid was $44,567, that last number on the right-hand side at the bottom. Page 10 gives you the maturities of that debt. So it shows you the years of payout in the first 5 years separately and then 5-year increments thereafter. Then if you will turn to page 15, This is where we look to see whether the city adhered to their published budget, and there were no funds of your city that expended more than was budgeted, so there were no budget violations. There were no statutory violations of any kind, but this shows you the funds that are budgeted. Not all of your funds are budgeted, but these are the budgeted funds on page 15, and you can see that overall, as a city, you were 2.7 million under budget in total, so. Then on page 16, this starts the individual fund reports, and this is your general fund, and I'll only go through the general fund just to kind of show you the layout. It's your largest fund, so it has its receipts on a separate page, but so we give you the actual, the budget, and the variance. And then if you'll turn to page 17, the next several pages, actually 2 pages, are the general fund expenditures. This fund, again, is the larger fund, so you have departments, administration, police, court, fire, and this gives you the actual expenditures by department, and then the budget, and then the over-under. You will see there's a few line items that are over budget, but that's all right, because the budget law applies to the fund in total. So as long as the bottom of page 18, you end up still with a bracket, you can see that the general fund was under budget by $411,000 for last year. Now, I won't go through the rest of the funds, but I will take you back to the federal audit portion, which starts on page 48. Because you spent more than $750,000 in federal dollars, you get the luxury of having an additional audit called the single audit. Page 48 and 49, 50, and 51 are just extra reports that are required when we have a single audit. The first one talks about internal control, so we are required to look at the controls over your compliance with federal awards. And if there were any findings or significant deficiencies, they would be listed here. There were none. Page 50 is the actual report on compliance for the major program we tested. So if you'll look at page 52, this gives you a list of all the federal monies that were expended by your city during 2021. The total was $1,123,939. As a city that reports under the regulatory method, you're considered a high-risk auditee. That's not a bad thing, it's just the facts. So we're required to test 40% of your federal expenditures. And so by testing the airport improvement program, we were able to meet that 40%. So that was the program that was tested this year. So what we do there is we go through all your contracts with the airport program. We visit with your grant administrator. We look at the reportings that were filed and the expenditures that were approved by you as a council that went along with those. And then we report back to the federal government. And that's been done, and there were no findings, so it was a clean report. If you look on page 54, the last page, this is the schedule of findings, so you can see there were no findings, they're all no's. And then down below, auditee qualified as low risk, it will always be no, simply because you are a KMAG reporting city. Any questions? Was that enough detail? All right.
Good.
Go Chiefs. I wore Chiefs clothes all day, but I changed for tonight. So, but we really did enjoy working with you. And again, I sincerely apologize for missing the meeting, and that's just not something that happens normally. It's been a weird year. I lost my dad this year, lost my brother last week. So it's been, you know, and that's not even to mention the staffing. So, and I'm not making excuses. It's just, it's been a tough year, so. We appreciate working with you.
Thank you.
Thank
You did a
you.
great job like always.
I'm going to leave this extra copy right here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we move on to number 3, the sign permit fee forgiveness request. With Mark. Hello.
Hoffman, Ward 4, and building owner at 706 Broadway. I apologize for the after-the-fact process of this sign permit. We were in such a rush to get everything, get the building painted, barn quilts redone for the gravel dash, that I didn't even think about it. So what we're asking for is the largest barn quilt on the building. We redid the design to incorporate some information to direct people to the rail trail, because we get a lot of people downtown and they're like, where's the trail? So we're just trying to help, you know, point them in the right direction, get them heading in the right direction. So we're just asking for the, not to have to pay the signage fee. We didn't really know that adding the lettering was gonna convert it to a sign, but that's what we're told. So we're just asking for the forgiveness of the fee, since we're, you know, trying to direct people to a public trail use. So that's really what we're asking for, so. Anybody's got any questions or?
Well, and ordinarily, I'd probably say, waiving a sign, fee is probably a bad precedent to set. But in this case, where it sounds like it's primarily directing people to the trail.
Right, yeah, we're just,
It's
trying to
maybe a little
promote.
bit different
Because,
situation.
as the trail board, we try to get people to park downtown, because you have the bathrooms and the water, we have the wagon wheel, Chinese, we have places to eat, good parking, everything you need, so we just need to get them there, but they need to know where to go, to access the trail, so. Because we have people come in the store and they're like, where do I go? Yeah, so we just need some more signage.
And aren't we in year 1 or year 2 of buying signs?
Well, if KDOT ever gives us approval to start mounting them, we've got some in, but we're waiting on KDOT.
There's one of the signs like it's at the courthouse and the Custer House
Yeah.
that will be at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be helpful too, so.
Move to waive the sign permit fee for the Blue River Trail.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
7-1.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move on to, Resolution 2022-10, extension of premises for the wagon wheel.
This is something you already approved, but they just wanted an official resolution to, yeah, the state requested this, yes.
Move to approve resolution 2022-10.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm
Abstain.
abstaining from that vote,
Okay.
yeah.
701.
Okay.
Next, we have ordinance number 1914 on the ward boundaries.
Okay. We had a couple meetings regarding the ward boundaries. Included is the new map on page 16, just to show what we had talked about. And then I converted all those boundaries as was discussed into words onto page 14 and 15 for ordinance number 1914.
Move to approve ordinance 1914 ward boundaries.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Fry,
Yes.
Keating,
Yes.
Snellings,
Yes.
Bikeman,
No.
Gurecki,
Yes.
Price,
Yes.
Aaron's,
Yes.
Crum.
Yes.
7-1.
All right. We will move on. I need to do an Arbor Day proclamation. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees, and whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are renewable resources, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas the city of Marysville has been recognized as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation for over 30 consecutive years and desires to continue its tree planting practices. Now therefore, I, Jason Barnes, Mayor of the City of Marysville, do hereby proclaim October 13th, 2022 as Arbor Day in the City of Marysville, and urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations.
I would ask that you, instead of 30, we're at 40 consecutive years.
Oh,
All right,
cool.
we can change that.
That's easy enough. All right.
That is in here.
I was about halfway through it.
Last whereas.
There we go.
We will be having the Arbor Day celebration on October 13th at 10 a.m. out at the dog park. We have planted a maple tree out there. So we will, a photo op is what it is, celebration for that planting.
Okay.
Looks like a pretty nice tree from the highway. Pretty good size.
We got to rehome it. It was in a place where it didn't need to be, so we rehomed it.
There
So
you
it was
go.
great.
Okay. All right, we have no notices and hearings. Next up, we have the consent agenda.
Move to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 8-0. Next up, we have appropriations ordinance number 3782.
Move to approve appropriation ordinance 3782 in the amount of $233,445.93.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion?
I just had a question. On the streetlight globes, we purchased a lot of them. Is that just case quantities?
Yeah, it's
Like,
so we can.
We didn't have
fix-
that many missing that I know of.
So we can fix the existing and have backups. It was we've been fighting with the company to actually get the right ones in.
Okay.
And once we found the right ones, we needed.
And we have two different sizes floating around? I didn't know that. Oh, the top one's different size.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. I was just curious because I was like, man, that's a lot.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That's fine.
Okay, any further discussion? Roll call?
Fry,
Yes.
Keating,
Yes.
Snellings,
Yes.
Bikeman,
Yes.
Guaraki,
Yes.
Price,
Yes.
Barron's,
Yes.
Drawn.
Yes.
8-0.
Okay. Next up, we have Oscar with the staff reports.
All right, first thing on my list is a resolution to change the existing vacation policy. Currently, our vacation states that new hires have to wait 1 year before utilizing vacation. And I'm proposing that we reduce that down to 6 months to coincide with the completion of their probationary period. I did some research, talked to other communities. That's the most any of the other responding communities came up with was they had 6 months to wait for vacation. There were some that gave vacation like right off the bat, which was an interesting concept. I didn't think we were ready for that. So we bumped it to what I saw on the rest of the cities, 6 months. And also, after some discussion with department heads, I would like to also restructure how vacation is earned. Changing the initial 6 months from 4 hours to 8 hours earned. And then changing the categories or the timelines from, so you got the initial 6 months, and then you got 6 months to 5 years, and 5 years to 10 years, and then over 10 years. Right now we have initial year, 2 to 10 years, and over 10 years. This restructuring boosts the vacation for long-standing members, employees of the city of Marysville. And I believe it'll encourage longevity, especially when you're at year 2 and you can see year 5 coming and go, okay, well, I get a boost. And then it doesn't stop there. Whereas before it was, okay, got year 2, it doesn't get boosted till 10. And then after 10, there's nothing. I mean, there's no, it's that one increase, and then all the long timers are maxed out on hours. And they're taking vacation and doing all that stuff. But we saw this as a better setup than what we have right now. The added category over 10 years boosts the earned hours from 12 hours to 16 hours per month, and increases the accumulation amount max to 384 from 288. And then that is mirrored in the police department following their scale. It boosts the 13.5 to 18 hours a month, and the max accumulation hours from 324 to 432. I also added a line in there after discussion. So it kind of goes with that, the idea that they would have, so a new experienced employee coming in that might have a vacation already scheduled can be reassured that we are going to work with them. We already work with people coming in, but we will, it's just spelled out more in our policy that we will work with you as you come up. If you already have scheduled vacation, you just tell us, we'll put it in the schedule, and there you go. It is unpaid hours, and the justification for that is when let's say you're leaving another job, typically you're paid, so you have a vacation scheduled, so you presumably already had hours banked for that vacation, so when you leave that job, they pay you that vacation out. So you take unpaid, but you've already been paid the existing vacation from your previous job. That was how we came down to changing this policy. Does anybody have any questions regarding this?
Well, I'm in favor of it, but honestly, I don't know that it's aggressive enough. I like the idea of people getting vacation day one. I've worked places that do that, and I've worked places that make you wait for it. And to me, making people wait for it is almost disrespectful. It assumes they're not going to stick around, but that's just my opinion. But I mean, as far as, a lot of the tenets of this, I think it's an improvement for sure.
Definitely.
Then how does it work here, so if you're with your new wording in the scheduling part, where requested vacation schedules of 2 or more employees would adversely affect the efficient operation of the city? So you have 2 employees already in the department that went off, and then the new guy comes in, and you're just like, oh, well, sorry, you've been here 6 years, but the new guy gets the week off instead.
It's not instead, it's on top of. So we are hiring a new experienced person. If they didn't accept the job, we wouldn't have the fight over, we just wouldn't have the hours. We wouldn't have the guy working. So the fact that we weren't already anticipating him or her being there, it's not. We're not going to knock anybody else out of their vacation. We're just going, okay, we're anticipating not having that person we're hiring just to get them on board. So the idea is to get them, like if they have something in the first 2 months or first 3 months of their employment, and they're talking to whoever's hiring them as they're hiring them. That way we can put it on the schedule. We already do this. It's just not in writing. It's the fact that if we don't get that person, we don't even have to worry
But my
about it.
argument is, devil's advocate, you do get that person.
Yeah.
And because I'm not seniority, and I request time off and I don't get it, but new person gets it, that's going to anger me as an employee that's been here for a while. Does that make sense? Like in here it says that
leave shall be granted on the basis of seniority of city employment.
Right. So if the people already had their.
So if you have 3 people already employed,
Uh-huh.
request this time off, and we tell the third guy, sorry, you can't have those days off because these people already have it off, but then you hire somebody new, and the guy that's been here can't get the time off, but the new guy gets the same time off. That's where I have an issue. Because I deal with this all the time at work.
We haven't faced that issue, as of yet. And it's the understanding that we wouldn't have the help if they didn't come on. So if the breaking point was, we won't give them vacation, that they had already planned, and they say, well, I planned it, I'm not gonna work for you, well, that's where it.
Right, but then we're in the same case if you have an employee here for 6 years, and we give vacation to the new guy, and he still has to work because 2 people above him take off, then he's gonna get angry. So like, where's the happy medium?
I don't think it's so much they're giving the new guy vacation, it's like a pre-hire agreement.
Yeah.
Basically.
Right.
We're just putting in writing that we're gonna allow, we're going to officially say that, yes, we have a policy that says, when I hired on and I told you that in 30 days I need to be off because I have a scheduled
Whatever.
Yeah. We're gonna allow that to take place.
And we're not giving them the paid time off. It's, they are voluntarily taking unpaid leave to go on go to a wedding, go to a family event that has been planned for a year. It's just putting it in writing. Again, we do this right now. I've had multiple people that we've hired go, hey, I've already planned this. Well, of course, take that off.
And if you think about it, because that employee wasn't an employee before, and those 2 persons were allowed to take vacation, this guy shouldn't even come into play, or this new hire shouldn't even come into play, because he wouldn't have been there when those 2 took vacation anyway.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But I deal with this a lot.
Right.
Every single day at work, and I know it gets nasty.
Yeah. And that's understood. I can see
Yeah.
that viewpoint.
It gets,
Can it take half days off, or is it just a full day?
1 hour at a time.
Yeah.
1 hour, yeah, they can do 1 hour at a time.
1 hour at a time?
Yeah, as little as 1 hour at a time. But again, we try to work with new hires. We especially want to work with the experienced ones that we're recruiting off of people, from other people.
Now, what about like death of a family or funeral? Would that be unpaid leave also?
That's covered in our policy, funeral leave. Any other questions?
Well,
Move to approve
Smooth
policy
motion.
resolution number 94.
okay. Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 8-0.
All right, the second thing on my list are financials. We are getting down to close to the end of the year. Go back to the page. But I feel we are still in good shape. General fund saw an increase in expenditures mainly due to an extra payroll, a normal extra payroll just lined up normally. We have 2 payrolls in each month, but sometimes you're approving of the ordinances line it up a little bit differently, so it adjusts a month or 2. We're going to see it again in December. But that's the increased expenditures, and they are anticipated. the water and sewers both saw a small increase in their balances, even with that extra payroll. And sales tax fund, increased about, or had about 100,000 increase. But I'm anticipating, that to change once we, see more project invoices. As street projects get done and get invoiced, and even, I had the guys out at the dump, come and grind up some more trees. That's a pretty decent size, $21,600, and it made a dent. Yeah, a dent.
Yeah, it's
Little
not a big
dent.
dent, it's a little dent.
We might be able to start burning again, just by the space that our guys moved around, so that should help. I do agree that we should continue bringing these guys back on a regular basis, until we get caught up. Getting rid of the big stuff. This time he got rid of a lot of small stuff, the big piles in the back from FEMA. From that we were stacking up for FEMA to, in case we qualified, which we didn't, from the storm. But, made progress, and, we can move forward from there. Any questions on financials? Seeing none, the third thing, the high school is holding a civic engagement day on Thursday, October 20th, from 9 to 11 at the high school. I believe they start at the auditorium. They're looking for 2 members of the governing body to be presenters, and I'm looking for volunteers. They thought maybe the mayor and the council member would be great, but if not available, 2 council members would also be good to provide information. So if you want to volunteer now, or let me know by the end of the week.
What do we have to do, and what do we have to present
Talk
on?
about.
I did it last year. It was pretty fun. I highly recommend it. I'm not doing it again, to be clear, but.
Why not?
Todd is really
Already
good
been there.
at. Okay, got it.
No, it was really fun. I mean, and you never know what kind of questions you're gonna get. And by the third, I don't know if they're using the same format. They bring one group, you talk to one group, they bring another group, you talk to them. By the time you get to the third one, it's like really fun, because you kind of have what they're gonna ask sort of thing, and it gets to be kind of like a press conference where you're at the dais and you're like calling out people and they're asking questions and you're answering. It's pretty fun. It's just, a lot of even just basic stuff like why do you do it, and do you like it? I mean, does it bother you when people say bad things about you on the internet? And, that kind of stuff. Comes with the territory.
And so, how long of a thing is it? How
2
long?
2 hours.
Oh,
Yep.
I can probably do it.
Okay.
And I'll do it too.
So Colleen and Jason. Awesome. Get
Since
that
I
out
don't
of
have anything else to do.
Jason. All right. Perfect. I have nothing else on my report at this time. Okay.
Well, we will resume on again. Standing committee reports. Does anybody have anything on the street?
Yeah, how are the, meter pits coming along?
Meter pits are on the street. Meter pits are done. And I forget if they had some final work to do, but I think he's done. He's done. There was one spot that needed a little bit of asphalt, to fill it in the bike lane area, but they got everybody connected, all the yards seeded and stuff like that.
I have a couple things.
Yes.
On street. Get out my notes here. The alley between 12th and 13th Street from north to Ann, absolutely awful. They asked me to go drive through that alley. It is horrible. The manhole is like sticking out like 3 inches. It's really, really bad. And the pile of trees on 8th Street that I see 7 times a day
Did we send
for the
the letter
last
out?
6 months that I
I
drive
would
by.
assume he sent the letter, but I never looked.
We'll check to see if the, well,
I
is
think
it on
he's
this?
waiting for,
Is it on this?
A lot of people use that alley for their driveway.
Yeah, it's really bad.
he's piled on the curb on 8th, just north up here.
It's been there for a long time.
Okay. Well,
And then it just got a little last storm that came through, piled up a little more this summer. More tree branches fell in the street, and then it just kind of got
okay.
pushed back.
Trees on North Street. Trees on North Street.
North 8th, yeah.
Okay, I'll check on that.
Okay,
Okay, that's all my notes.
all right. Anything else on the street? Nothing, Kevin?
No, I don't. I don't, believe it or not.
Water, wastewater? Okay, Parks and Rec?
A lot of kids out for soccer.
Good.
Yeah, the water leaks up at the baseball field.
Yes, there was, on water. Did it get fixed?
I don't know. That's what it was
On the storm, or not storm,
saying. Which one?
the one at the dugout,
On Legion Field?
Legion Field.
That's the sprinkler valve that needs.
Sprinkler valve needs to be replaced, there's
But-
water just rolling out of the top of it down.
And she called me Sunday, and there was water flowing on the red field, and the sprinkler system's not on.
Okay.
And she was afraid to turn any more valves, because she didn't want to make a bigger mess. Did she call down Monday?
I talked to her today.
I just want to get them
It was-
taken care of before we freeze and have a problem.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I.
And Legion Ball Field's getting another coat of paint.
Yes.
Those two.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Maybe more than one, from the looks of some of the spots.
Anything else on Parks and Rec?
I don't know if Kester House Gardens falls under parks. Seems like it kinda would if
Kinda,
anywhere.
sometimes.
The work on the bay windows is looking really good.
Nice.
I think we need to just keep them rolling on that block for a while because it makes everything else look worse.
There are a lot of
All the-
things on that block.
It makes a lot of that facade that's, it's either being held together by the 80 layers of paint.
Yeah.
Or whatever, but I mean, I've kind of been going by there frequently and watching, they're doing it right, they're doing a really good job. And it
Good.
really does
Nice.
make a difference and it preserves the block as, I think we all kind of want to do, so.
I would like to see another project come up. Whether it be another set of windows or
Or some of the soffits or
Whatever.
gingerbread or whatever you want to call it.
Did they ever get the top of the Masonic Lodge building looked at down there with that gap?
No, every time I call a contractor, it's like actually, the last one said I'll get it to you. Did we get a bid on Monday?
Can we take, do
Not
we have
unless
a
you
drone
got
at the city?
Yeah, we have a drone.
Can we fly a drone up there and take a picture of it, make sure it's not leaking or
Yeah.
at least get some kind of,
get a close look at it.
yeah. If we have one, utilize it.
Absolutely.
Well, if nothing else, maybe we can kind of get a contractor to give us an idea of
Especially if you go, this is what we found with the drone and go with that.
Yep.
Just hate to lose a roof just because we got a little gap in it and air
Yeah.
seep in and get underneath of it.
Winter's coming.
Huh?
Winter's coming.
It is.
Okay. Anything else on Parks and Rec? Cemetery and Airport? Police and Fire?
Yeah, where are we at on the, police station bathroom remodel?
They asked us to move the shed so they could utilize that back, so it sounded like they were getting ready to start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say, that's supposed to be done this year, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else on Police and Fire? Admin and Finance? There are no appointments, no city attorney, roundtable. Todd?
Yeah, I didn't know where else to bring this up, so here it is. I was given these handouts, I'll just go ahead and pass them around, about the heating system at the Kester House. It's been kind of a slow rolling project, but again, with the winter is coming thing, I know there's some challenges with equipment. But I know we wanna make sure it's done right, but also
Yes.
it's really hard on old houses to not have heat in the winter. So I feel like we probably are gonna have to pull out all the stops and slam on the gas to, to get this done in time. Austin, I'd asked you about it, and you said, you know, you're working, you can probably recap what you said better than I put the words in your mouth.
So we have been working on it over, well, for, like the letter says, about almost 2 years. So we ordered all the radiators that we thought we were gonna need. And one of them was a little bit wider than they thought it was gonna be, so they were gonna try to put one back after it had been welded back together, one of the old ones. They thought that could work. They pressure tested that one, it didn't work. So he's had to order another one. We're also getting a piece of equipment, because, to get 2 more radiators up to the 2nd floor, that are ready to go. So once we get that piece of equipment in to get those 2 up there, Charlie Ohm can get in there, as soon as possible to get those adjusted, or installed. We probably will have to put a, pipe on the one we don't have available, just to have the flow going through there, in the meantime, until we have the other one ordered in. That way we can get the heating system up and running, but that, it is a top priority. We know it's coming. It's been a challenge, and it's been on our list for way too long. So we're trying to get that knocked out, and focus on it so we can get it done.
What piece of equipment do we need?
A lift to get into the gardens and lift it up there. What did Argo use to get it up there? Do you know what he brought in? I can't remember.
I was gonna say a telehandler.
My guess.
Yeah, probably a
Something like that.
telehandler.
I can think of like 6 of them off the top of my head. So if the problem is we're not getting a telehandler because we need to, that's because people don't know who to ask, or they're not asking the right people, or they're choosing not to ask. That's where the solution is.
Where
Bunch of them.
Where are the 6 that you know of?
Well, I can tell you right now that Landals has a couple of them, Inline has 2 or 3 of them, Jared Argo has 2 of them. Peak Construction has probably 2 of them, or they can get you one. Buck Roofing's been in town numerous times with one. How many more you need? This is kind of like the drill bit that we made really complicated, but we didn't need to. There's lots of them around. And I understand some of these guys have them in and out of town because they work in and out of town.
Right.
Simple phone call is where you just need to start. Because I'm sure there's enough of them working around here, it might be within a couple blocks, and they'll, hey, we'll road over, be there in 15 minutes or so on this date, and take care of it.
Right.
And if we gotta pay them money, pay them money. I don't care if it costs a couple of $. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's the reason I say, there's just, communication is what it sounds like there's a breakdown of. Now, if we need something more specialized than that, then we're gonna have to go to a rental center, but I don't know what you need.
Right. But like I said, this is top priority. We don't wanna have this hanging around anymore.
And if we're not gonna get it fixed, let's see about buying some temporary heaters to save the building.
It's gotta get fixed.
I agree, I'd rather fix it, but you know what I'm saying. We can go get some of them little infrared heaters and just pay the electricity bill and try and keep the heat up.
Yeah.
Solutions are not hard.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else, Todd? Nothing? Yeah.
Obviously, the champion grant, we weren't successful there, but where are we at on childcare?
We are working, and in fact, I'm still not working on, I'm talking with Lucas out of Lindsborg to get pieces in line to set us up for, to get the process started. We're working to get a steering committee for the whole process, or even a pre-steering committee. And Lucas has been giving me some great ideas on how to do that.
Is that meeting this Thursday?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you.
Are city council members coming to it?
This is, after talking with Lucas about this, we're trying to make this childcare a hands-off project where it doesn't look like the city's controlling it. It'll end up, it's private individuals who are motivated to get this project done. And that's how it's stated. So we just didn't want it look like, oh, the city's going to build a child care facility. It's going to be like Lindsborg has it, where the not-for-profit made the decisions. Private individuals got private donations and all that stuff.
Community-driven.
Community-driven.
So you are gonna be the representative of the city?
I'm going to be at the meeting. I don't know exactly how it's going to
Okay.
go from here.
Yeah, I just, I heard about it secondhand, and I don't know. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. So, that's all I got.
Okay. Lori?
Nothing.
Keith? Nope. Kyle?
No, sir.
Parker?
Nothing at this time.
Colleen?
Nope.
Kevin?
I have nothing tonight.
I'd just like to say we had a wonderful time at the league meetings. A lot of those classes were very informative. It's always fun to hang out with other people that are in local government, and it doesn't seem to matter where they're from. Everybody's facing the same problems generally. I mean, they all raise their hand and say we don't have enough housing, we don't have enough daycare. It's interesting talking with the other cities just to see, because everybody's trying to find a solution, and they're all kind of coming up with their own little ideas and trying to figure out if they can get something to work. Pretty informative with some of the housing incentives. That was explained to me with the state of Kansas that the legislature passed, is that they are, a lot of times these entry-level houses, when they build them, there's not a lot of profit margin, which is part of the reason why it's not a priority for a lot of builders. But there will be tax credits now, and kind of the idea is that I didn't realize this, they can sell those tax credits to somebody else. So say if you're a developer and you build a house, you get a $35,000 tax credit, you can sell that to somebody else to use, and they'll give you 80 or 90% of the value of that tax credit. And then in turn, in theory, what they would like to see happen is then the price of that house comes down by, say, $30,000 on the market when somebody buys the house. It's what the thought process is with it. Just a lot of different. I mean, there were some towns that were buying buildings downtown and rehabbing them and getting somebody in there, and then they'd sell it and they'd take that money. Buy another building downtown. There were just a lot of different ideas out there that cities were trying. So, and the daycare thing too. I mean, everybody wants daycare, and a lot of different ideas of how to approach it. So, it was a good meeting, fun weekend. So, and Monday.
You got housing, I went to cybersecurity. That guy was pretty dry.
Yeah. And Kevin went to First Amendment.
First Amendment rights.
Yeah.
People coming in with their cell phones and trying to intimidate because they know their First Amendment rights, and especially in public spaces. And
Yeah. They'll get in a building, and as long as the door's open, they just keep going back further and further until they're back with the staff, just taking pictures of whatever.
Yeah, the door's unlocked, it's free access.
So, yeah. It's not been a problem here, but in Kansas, didn't you say,
Kansas
they
City,
said
yeah.
that they have several every month that
Yeah.
do this evidently there. So, and their police departments too. they'll just try and see how far back into areas that they can get. Kind of crazy. But, it's evidently a thing now. And they film it all with their phone, and then I'm sure put it all on YouTube and Facebook and whatever
They
else.
do people buy them, they say.
So, yeah, it's just a new thing. So,
So
anyway,
needless to say, we learned some useful information.
we did.
Yeah.
We did. So, anyway, but that's all I had.
Move to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?